Panel discussion for the day. The panelists for the discussion are Mr. Yogesh Dharmadhikari, Mr. Manish Sinha, Mr. Manish Santosh, Mr. Siddharth Rahalkar, Mr. Ankit Maheshwari, and Mr. Subramanian. The topic for the panel discussion is Impact of Global Meltdown on India. Sir, I request you all to share your views on the topic, and then we can have a 5-minute discussion with the audience as well.
Before we start, I just want to tell you one thing, that I've seen you very fresh, energetic at 8:30. So I think it's only 6:15, although we have crossed the limit of 6. Still, if you can possibly keep your energy alive for next 10 minutes, it will be good. Thank you. I'm saying this because the next 10 minutes will be the most difficult ones in your life, because we are going to talk about economy.
So we can start off from you.
So as per seniority.
I'll repeat the topic, Impact of Global Meltdown on India.
Actually, the global meltdown really for India was a myth, in my perspective. When we talk about the impact, Indians are very worried. I think, first of all, I should thank your board of governors. They have persistently kept me here from 11 a.m. onwards. I was supposed to leave at 11 a.m. and somehow they have been enticed me and helped me back. So I'm not complaining, I've been enjoying the whole day. So thank you. So when you talk about global meltdown, what you'll understand about global meltdown is the US markets melted, and then that flu went on to Europe, and then it hit Japan, and then the Indians are very worried it will hit us too. Yes, we did have a tough year, we had anxious moments, but our economy was so resilient, it was a test of strength, that I think India actually we came out of it unarmed. We need to thank our controlled economy. I'm sure if we had a converted currency, which Tarapur had recommended, it would have definitely hit us very, very badly if we didn't have managed currency. Two is, yes, certain industries did get hit, like the IT industry is very dependent on the US market. But fortunately, even for the IT industry, after the SARS flu, etc., which happened about 5 years back, they also did some risk management and diversified into other countries where they'd never been to. So really, the bottom line really didn't get it, because from primarily depending on the US market, they spread across to Europe, Far East, Asia, and other countries too. So in my mind, actually the global economy was just like a blimp, because the Indian economy still marched forward. But now let me give the others a chance to talk about it.
Particularly in my view, I would agree with saying that India was least affected by the global meltdown. I would not use the word least, but I would say, affected to a very less extent. The only reason why I would, vouch on this point is that if you actually take any of these sectors, you talk about software sector, which Sir has just dwelt upon, we went to other markets. If you talk about the banking scenario, obviously the banking system is still robust. We're still doing well. The only flip side of it, I am not basically, trying to correlate it to the meltdown, since you also said, Sir, that, the difficult part that we'll be talking about is the economy. Currently, I think the only area of concern is inflation. If we can rein in that, then I believe we have some serious productivity and serious growth figures. I think we are currently targeting a 9% growth, 8 or 9% to be called as a fast-track economy. But progressively, we are still at a 7% growth rate. I think inflation, if taken care of, would obviously lead to a next level of productivity, which is 9%. And that is very realistic, since we are talking about 2-3% decline in the inflation rate also at the current levels would lead to a lot towards that. As far as the global meltdown is concerned, I don't find any impact on the economy, apart from that it has made us strong, and when you have problems, you find very effective solutions. And India में एक term है जुगाड़, भारत में कुछ भी हो, कुछ ना कुछ रास्ता निकल ही आता है.
Okay, global meltdown in India. See, I am also an Indian, and speak about myself. When it comes to global meltdown, that time I was in corporate, I was with Kotak Mahindra, so I found it a very difficult time, cracking the customers that time. And when it comes to personal, yeah, of course, it has affected me, because I am a big time investor. My investment that time, Ankit doesn't know very well. So yeah, when it comes to when we anytime when we enter into this topic about meltdown, I start the topic with my effect after this meltdown. So yeah, of course it has affected me, and I would like to know the views, friends.
Yeah, I think sir has aptly said that IT industry was affected. So since I come from the IT industry, I can certainly tell you that we were the most affected. And but I will tell you that I mean I'm not the expert on this subject, but I will tell you that this is an opportunity to get out of the excesses which are there, because these meltdowns, to my assessment, are result of the human tendency or the nature of a human to have more and more, and it leads to, this greed leads to a lot of excesses. So it is always the nature, I mean the law of nature applies, and it puts some tab on this greed, and that's how these slowdowns happen. If the nature of greed reduces from the human beings, which I don't see it getting reduced, I think we will not face such meltdowns. However, I think, as sir has said, we were the least affected as far as the economy is concerned. Certain sectors did feel the heat, that is, I think IT, aviation, and I think hospitality also felt and some of the companies did not give pay hikes, so that is one of the impact. But I feel that if the inflation is kept in control, I mean, in Europe and US you don't get the pay hikes what you get in India. Since India is a developing economy, you get the pay hikes which are in double digits. I mean, we are actually in, I don't know, it's I think a myth. What is a inflation and what is a pay hike? Because yeah, I mean, if you see your budget, if you get a pay hike, then other things are also inflated. So really, in real terms, you have to see what is the benefit of that hike for you. So I think we have recovered, being a very strong economy, and we did not have much of excesses. So the real estate, I think they suffered quite a lot, like IT. So most of the things I think are in control, and now we are. And Asia Pacific economies, or the big economies, are the economies which will be the economies which will progress in future as well. So you can see that Europe and US economies still have their problems. So I think India and China are poised to a better future.
Just to wrap up, yeah. You know, whatever pay hike we all get, at least 40% of it goes back to government of India. Basically, whatever pay hike we get, we are giving back to the good old finance minister as taxes, right? Or some government bonds or something like that. It goes back to the government. Just to sum up sir's loss in the market, you know, the FIs did put out initially as a knee-jerk reaction, but now I think if we had stayed invested, we would have made 3 times more. He just did have the guts to stay invested. No, you kept invested, so you recouped actually. And, talking about that time. No, but yeah, that is the market, right? He took the risk, but he has to stay invested, he didn't dilute. Right? Yeah, that is a good test for the Indian markets especially, because finally what is the economic barometer? One of course is inflation, the other is the GDP. The third and most important is how the markets are doing, whether it is your financial markets or commodity markets. There's a run on the market, even the finance minister, prime minister in India now comes on the TV and saves the market. This has happened to ICICI Bank twice in the past 2 years. Right? And I've seen once where morning first Kamat came, and then after that nothing was ICICI Bank. And then Chidambaram came, and then Manmohan Singh came. All three came on the same day within the 8 hours, because they realized because that's part of the index. And if the index went down, the global repercussions for India would be very high. So they have to save it. Now these companies have become so heavyweight, like Reliance, the Reliance Ford family, both brothers put together, Larsen and Toubro, they're all heavyweights in the index. You know, they're top 50. Now, I don't want to go into capital markets, but that's not the purpose. So I think the global meltdown also made sure that Indian markets are very resilient. Otherwise, there was a myth that only the markets were driven by FII investment. And that was proved absolutely wrong in this global meltdown. Though the FIIs pulled out the money, Indians actually put in their money, bought the stocks at discount, and then invested and harvested like my friend here. who have the ability to stay on and believe in India.
I personally believe that it always pays when you think of a long-term investment.
Yes. So anybody who wants to invest for finance students, look long term. Don't look at Sata. The market is not for that. It is very unforgiving. Okay. So anyway, so
one impact was like in US, they had announced government packages to bail out certain sectoral companies, and I think if Keynes or Maslow was around today, they would rewrite the economic theories, because this is something they had never seen. We saw it for the first time, and we actually changed some of the economic rules by printing more money in US. And since they did something, we had to react to that by giving a package in India also for a particular sector, real estate. So Indian government took some action after this meltdown elsewhere, which is surprising, or rather I should say positive surprise for us. But whether this is sustainable, whether this formula is good, whether the economies are actually out of danger, only time can tell us, because government can bail out once. If tomorrow government goes bankrupt, there is no one to bail out the government. So it will probably trigger even the worst fall in the economic history, so to say. So I think right now we just have to wait and watch for that. Right now we are just going through the best phase where all these barometers we are talking about, stock market or other things, they are showing positive signs, but how far it can go, we don't know for the time being. Unfortunately, Keynes and Maslow, these guys are not around anymore, so we really need new economic theories to define, and then we will probably around.
Keynes and Maslow, though, still not relevant because the time cycles are very short.
Yeah.
The time cycles for markets to crash are 24 hours. Right? It starts from Japan. If Japan has a bad day, it comes to Asia. Asia has a bad day, then it goes in New York, or vice versa. By then it's morning in Japan. By the time we finish California, Japan is waking up. And then, the whole thing, you keep tracking this, which I do for just out of passion. Very interesting how they are interrelated. So it's become when you are not here, the usually world is flat, because it's a fact as far as markets are concerned. And I think that much for economics, because beyond this, I think you get very boring.
Yeah. All right.
And then moreover, it is a cycle. No, whatever goes on has to come now. So it is a cycle. So nothing to panic about.
Absolutely. So we are pretty interested. I think we are going to have a good year. 30,000.